Hey guys, welcome to another Polybones Tabletop Miniatures episode. This one is how I paint goblins, massive darkness goblins. If you want your goblins to look like these guys, then follow my step-by-step video, which I'm about to show you, and you can have these guys on your board coming to get you, and attack you, and destroy you, and is we're going to start painting the skin. So the color I'm going to use for this is Celestial Gray. So we're going to do a base coat of Celestial Gray. That's the first step. And I'm getting Celestial Gray all over my fingers. Alright, so all we're going to do is we're going to get in there, you're going to do the face first. Alright, and like everything, always make sure you're watering down your paints first. You want to do that. So you're going to get his face. Ears, get there, and the back of it, and I'm getting paint all over my paintbrush handle because it's leaking from the bottle. And he's got his chest. See if I can paint like this, watching the camera. Ooh, getting in his hands. And so he's got a few spots of skin showing. Not a whole lot. And he's got a bit underneath his arm. Over here in between his armor on his arms. And like always, like I said, make sure you water down your paint a little bit. And go over the whole face. You don't have to worry about the teeth and all that stuff. You can go and pick those out afterwards. He does have a bit of his legs showing. Celestial Gray gives you a good base, so we're going to be doing this like a pale greenish color. I like them lighter than the orcs, but you can paint them whatever color you want. This is just one way of doing it. Go. And the skin is all face. So you can hardly tell a difference right now between the primer and the Celestial Gray. That's okay. Maybe that rhymed. Okay. Right. So, let's see, I've painted him up. Are you gonna focus on him? No. Alright. Okay, so this is gonna be weird. I'm gonna try and do the next step with the camera facing the opposite way. Let's see if this works. Maybe you can see me paint more than having my fingers in the way, but we're going to try it. So the next color we're going to do is a wash on the skin, and we're going to use Athonian Camel Shade. You can see that. Alright, I'll give it a nice shake, and same thing. So number one, let's see if I can hold this right. This is hard. We'll figure this out together. Right, so I'm going to give it a nice wash. That's all the skin that I just finished doing. And make sure you're getting the crevices there. You can see you're already starting to get that nice green. Looking at his ears. I got a chunk there, something. dry paint. And the hands. Just gonna get in there, and everything that you painted or you based for the skin, you're gonna go over this. And sometimes you're gonna get a bit of a puddle, and you just wanna dry your brush off, and then it'll suck it in for you. And his legs. See from there and there. Let's flip them around. Get the other part. I'm also painting like 24 of these in a batch, but I'm just filming the steps on one of them as we're painting together. Alright, got it all. I think I've got it all anyways. Yep, doesn't look like I'm missing anything. So once that dries, then we're going to do a dry brush over the skin. 3-step process for this. I actually used the same steps for my crypt ghouls for AOS. Okay. Okay, we're going to try a different angle. We're going to try different angles as we're painting and stuff like that. But so what we're going to do is, after we've done doing the wash, we're going to do a dry brush, and we're going to use Nurgling Green as a dry brush for the skin. Give it a nice little shake. Alright, what I'm going to do is get a little dab, wipe it off, give it a couple of brushes on my scraper. I think I brought this up in one of the episodes. And now, all I'm going to do is go around and give it a dry brush. Now you're not going to see too much of a difference, like you are, but what this is just going to pop out some of the highlights on the skin. Some of the skin, the fingers, you're going to see more of it, some of it you're not. And don't worry about getting paint on the part that you're not painting, because you're going to paint over that, and you'll see that in the next steps. Just give it a nice little dry brush. Like I said, it's just going to give it a little bit more definition on some of the rough edges. Not much. But you'll see it more in light areas. But I'm trying to make the skin pop out a little bit. Now don't be discouraged, because everything else is white, and you're just painting the skin. It looks a lot better once it's all completed. But that's it for the skin. Alright, I'm going to do the rest of them. Alright, so I just realized my camera kicked out as I already started painting some of this guy with his purple. I'm using Nagaroth Night for the purple. I'm going for the purple and green scheme here with these guys. Like I said, I already started painting the claw, so we're going to do a base. I've watered this down quite a bit. I'm repeating myself now because I just finished talking for a while as I was painting the front half. But we're going to go with this camera angle for a while until I figure something out better, because at least you can see more of what I'm painting with this. So I think I'm going to also cut these short as I go from step to step, because this video will end up being super long if I just sit here and ramble on while I'm painting certain colors. But you can also see afterwards what it looks like after paint. So this is Nagaroth Night. I'm sorry. And like I said, I'm doing all the cloth this color for the base. Alright, we're going to hit it with a wash. And we're going to hit it with a dry brush. I mean, you can also do just a layer instead of dry brush. It all depends. But I mean, for speed, and that's what I'm going for here. Because it's a board game and it's not a showcase miniature. And I want to get these things on the board. Actually, with Massive Darkness, you don't need all these guys on the board. They don't all fit on the board at the same time, so you don't really need to paint them all. It's just some kind of a completionist when it comes to this crap. So you can't have a board game with some stuff painted and some stuff not. So I'm going to continue painting purple, and I got the other ones to go as well. When I finish these, we'll take you to the next spot. Shot. Alright. So after I've finished basing the cloth here with purple, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a wash with Druchii Violet. So this is another wash. And it's a darker purple than what we've painted on already. Alright, I'm just going to dip my brush in, and I'm going to go in everything that I've already painted purple, being careful not to get this on the green at all. What this is going to do, it's going to give a darker tone to the creases, right? Giving it some more definition. And it pops out the parts that are raised, so it'll be easy for you to see what you want to highlight afterwards. So I'll continue doing this. I've got the other whack of them to do. Alright, and we'll keep on going. Okay, so now that we've got the wash put on, we're going to go and do, with a small dry brush, we're going to use, if I'm pronouncing this right, Exurus purple. It's a bit of a lighter purple. Now if you want more detail, and you're not going to get a whole bunch done in one shot, like batch page painting, then it's probably better to layer this on. But you need a small dry brush just to get in there and kind of pick out the details of this. This will help. And we're going to do another small dry brush of even lighter purple after this. Alright, this is just the same thing we did with the skin. You're not going to see much of a difference, but you're going to see a bit of a highlight on the red rays. You would see more if you layered it. That's why layering gives you more detail on it. But I mean, for speed, for tabletop, gaming, board gaming, and you're not going to have a lot of these on the table at a time, then you know what? Dry brushing is fine. And this one, you're going to notice these guys more on the back. You're going to see something like this. Right? Kind of pops it out. I don't know if you can see that. But you can see the raised edges, a little bit more of the folds inside of it. Looks better in person. But yeah. So I am going to do the rest of these guys like this. Okay. Alright. Now that I've done the dry brush, I'm popping out the highlights and stuff like that. And it's dry. I'm gonna do another dry brush of Gene Stealer Purple. Now I'm not gonna dry brush the whole thing with this. I'm just gonna hit the very tips, edges of the cloth that he's wearing, the gown. And it's a bit of a lighter purple, right? But all I'm gonna do is hit the edges a little bit. Just give it some more definition. like an edge highlight, right? You can do this without using the dry brush technique, like I said before, and just layer it. But we're going for speed and quality kind of mix, right? Because I'm doing a whole bunch of these, right? Okay. And that's all I'm going to do, just to get these edges popping a little bit. There we go. And I think that would be sufficient enough. Okay, something like that. So it kind of pops it out a little bit. If you want to do it a little bit more up on the edge here. It's hard to tell on the camera because like the purple, like dark colors are dark colors, right? But back looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. This one line right here, maybe give it a little bit more definition. And I'm going to continue doing the rest of these. Alright, so now that I'm done with the purple, and I've done the brighter highlight on the cloths, I'm going to do all my browns. Now, I'm going to use 4 different browns actually on this guy, and the first one I'm going to use is Iraqi sand, and I'm going to use from Vallejo, and I'm going to use Iraqi sand for the cloths that are around you. You'll notice there's cloths inside around his waist, as kind of like a garter or something like that come in here. So I'm going to do this one first because I have other stuff that's actually attached to it. Or not attached to it, like other straps, leather straps that are over top of it. So just like anything, you want to work kind of in, out, right? In order that you would dress a miniature, I guess. If that makes sense. So I'm going to get in there, and it's going to be a bright color at first, but we are going to wash it. And that's going to help give it some definition. I'm also using a bit of a smaller brush, just so I can get into the detail there. Try not to get into any on the skin, and onto that little, just like a little flap of the cloth that comes in to his waist from the back side, that you don't want to get either. So we're going to do this brown first, and on these guys, this is all that it is. It's just in there. And get in there, you can get some of a little bit. There. Just clean it up a little bit. Anyways, got it in there, and I'm gonna go around and do that to the other guys. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you get a little bit on the part that you have not painted yet. Just don't get it on anything that you have painted yet. So, that's my first brown. This brown, it's like a yellowish brown, Iraqi sand. It's a sand. And I'm gonna go and continue the rest. Okay, so I finished painting his little bandages or whatever that garter is called. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint little pouches that he has on his waist. He's got 2 pouches, and the color I'm going to use for that, here's 1 pouch and 2 pouch, is Valor Brown from Citadel. So it's pretty quick. There's only 2 pouches on this guy, and I'm using a smaller, thinner brush once again. And I'm just going to paint those little pouches, being careful not to get any paint on what I've already painted. Now you're also going to notice that I didn't wash the bandages on his waist, and that's because I'm going to wash all my browns together. no point. If I'm using the same wash, and if I can help it, I'm not going to paint and wash, paint and wash, paint and wash, because we're going for speed here, right? I just want them to look decent enough that when you put them on the game board, your friends are like, oh man, that guy actually looks pretty cool. But they're not gonna, well, they might pick them up and start analyzing their paint job. That's okay. So, done the pouches. You can see the 2 pouches, 1 and 2. And I'm gonna go and do the rest. Alright, now that I've finished painting the little pouches, I'm gonna go around and paint all these little straps now, or belts. So you see he's got one coming down from here and across here, and he's also got a strap on his back over here holding the shield and stuff. So the color I'm going to use for this is Doom Bull Brown from Citadel. I'm going to use a thin brush again, and I'm just going to step a bit on my brush. I'm going to be very careful as I go down the strap. Right, this is all I'm doing. And the one across his chest up here, right inside the little belt buckle. A little bit more paint. Right, and like I said, be very careful. And this goes right across his shoulder. And the reason why I use the straps, I do the straps over top, because it kind of gives me a reference when I'm painting everything around it. But I have to do this at the end of the straps, or the bandages around his waist, because it goes over top of it. And then I got one on his back, which just goes over for his shield that he's carrying. Right, I'm just being very careful. And that's him like that. So, got 2 straps. Right. And the one on his back. And I will carry on with the rest of it. Alright, so I've gone and done all the straps for all the goblins that we're doing here. The next color I'm going to use is I'm going to use Band Blade Brown from Citadel. And what I'm going to do with this color is, sorry, I got paint on my fingers here, is I'm going to start painting the caps, right, the hats or helmets or whatever you want to call them. And this will be the last brown for these guys before we do a wash. Just want to be careful because there's a lot of things you don't want to paint over here and do over again, like his ears or his face. There's a little detail on his hat, and we're going to be painting that metal afterwards, metallic, silver, whatever you want. But I recommend just painting over it, because for now anyways, because when we go with the metal, we just have to slightly touch it with the brush over top, instead of trying to get really close to the edge. We'll have to wash, do the rest of it. So this color is a little light. It's not that bad, but it will darken up when we do a wash over top of it. And we're going to use Agra Earthshade for our washing. But, excuse me, clear my throat here. And Try to get in the crevices there without hitting the face. And that's what this little monster looks like, with band blade brown on his head. And it's not going to focus. That's fine, maybe if I get a picture. But I'll keep on going with the rest of these and we'll show you what the next step is. Now that I have all my browns finished, the next thing I'm going to do is give them all a wash with Agrax Earthshade from Citadel. So, oops, check this happen there. See that shit? Alright. So, same way we did when we were washing the cloths, the purple. Alright, we're just going to get in there with your brush and everything that we just finished doing. The bandages, the pouches, the straps, and the hat. We're going to put a wash on. Now be careful when you're washing, when you're putting the wash on the straps that come across his chest. Right? Because you don't want to get brown wash onto his skin, his green skin. Unless that's an effect that you're going for. Sorry guys, I just have like a frog in my throat today. That's okay. Alright. Get the strap on the back. And just a quick little wash there. So you have the straps, the bandages. They call them bandages. They're not bandages, but now we're going to do this hat. And this will darken everything up and give everything definition as well. And be careful when you go in there. And do that. Okay, good. We'll get a little bird skull on his helmet and his hat here. Try to make sure it's dark around the edges of that, and the little studs there on the bottom of the cap. And we seem to be good. Okay, so I'll put the wash on it. Except my focus is kind of bleh, but you can go and do that to the rest of them if you are batch painting, just like me right now. Alright, now that I've done the washing on all the brown, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to do any highlights on the brown because the wash kind of gives it what it needs to do. And there's a lot of small parts anyways. Or sorry, I'm not going to give a dry brush to the brown. But now I'm going to work on the metallics of the miniature. And the first one I'm going to use is Skorax Bronze from Citadel. And what I'm going to use this for is just for the handles of the swords. Right, so this guy's got 2 handles on it. And this step doesn't really take too long. You just gotta be careful when you're painting around the hands, and you don't get them on the hands. Okay. I like using this instead of gold. Because it goes good with the wash that I use afterwards. I mean, it kind of looks like gold. It's like a goldish bronze, if that makes sense to you. I usually use this color for dry brush, actually, when I use a darker bronze. But I find using it, the tips of the sword, or the handles of the sword, sorry, a lot nicer as well. Depends what you're going for. I mean, we're going for a dungeon goblins over here. So, I mean, they're not using the finest of of weapons either, right? And almost done. I'm also taking pictures of each step as well. So what we're going to do is kind of this video together in two different ways. With the pictures step by step and also me painting. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys, the viewers, to let me know which version you like better. Would you rather sit through a long video of me painting each step, or would you prefer just to see step-by-step photos with the paint color that I'm using instead? That way you can start and pause the video, right? Alright, so he's done. Well, his sword handles are done. And I'm going to continue doing the other ones that we're doing in the batch. Okay, now that I've gone and painted the handles of the swords, we're going to wash them. And I'm going to use Rakelin Flesh Shade from Citadel. This gives it kind of that orangey-ish brown wash. Helps bring out some definition in the handles. Darkens it up a little bit as well. Just gotta be careful. Too much on your brush. And once again, you don't want to get these on the hands, right? The miniatures hands, not. You can get it on your hands all you want. You can just wash it off afterwards. That's fine. But you don't want to make a mess of it. That's basically what I'm saying. So you get enough as you need on your brush to make sure that it does fall into the creases of what you're doing. Don't want. Alright, that's good. That's good. You can always, the trick that I do too is your brush is very absorbent, right? That's what it does. That's what it's made to do. So if you see that you have like a puddle somewhere where you don't want wash to be, basically you just dry off your brush like this and then just stick the point into the puddle. And it'll soak it up and then you just dry it off again on your pad of paper or cloth or whatever you're using. So you can do some touch-ups as well. If you notice that you want an area to pool a little bit more, so it dries a little bit darker, create some shadow. That's completely up to you. Just go do it. But looks like after it's washed, might not be able to tell that much on the video, but they're gonna look awesome. Okay. Alright there, people. So, gone and I've used the wash, the flesh wash on the handles of the swords, and they're done. Now, we're almost there. We're almost there. So basically, everything that is white on this model, not including the base, is going to be painted lead belcher with Citadel. And shit on a hole. I just friggin' got paint. I always do that. Like, these bottles suck sometimes. That's why I like Vallejo bottles so much better. Anyways, I'm going to use this and we're going to paint everything that is left on this model that hasn't been painted is going to be this color. Now, I'm not going to paint everything. Well, I'm gonna paint everything on it, but I'm not gonna have you sit here and watch me paint this, because this part is actually very time consuming, because there is a lot of areas to paint, and you would just be sitting there at home or doing whatever you're doing while watching this, and you'd be like, well, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch this guy, and he's gonna be painting non-stop one color for, you know, a huge segment of this video, even though this video is probably gonna be long already. Be interesting though to see how long it actually is, because I'm batch painting these, but I'm showing you step-by-step process with just one of them, and for the most part, I think I've showed you painting the whole step. I think there's a couple of steps I haven't shown you well, I've shown you every step, but haven't filmed painting from the beginning to finish of that step, just because it would make the video so much longer. But when it's all done, it'll be interesting to see really how long it kind of took me to paint one of these miniatures, minus the drying time and stuff like that between washes and dry brushes and stuff like that. But these guys are starting to come out pretty cool, I must say. I must say. Just one thing I need to add is, don't forget his little sword sleeve. That's right here. When you're washing, or when I was washing and painting and stuff like that, you got a lot of purple on it, right? So it's very easy to forget that. So just because of that, I'll point it out right there. I'm going to continue painting this and the rest of them, because it's going to take me a little while to do that. There's a lot. And then we'll see you on the next step. Alright, now that I've got all the silver painted on this guy, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to use Seraphim Sepia, and we're going to go around the chainmail just around his neck. So if you look around his neck, he's got this weird kind of chainmail, or it's not really chain, but we're not going to keep that the same color as everything else. So what I'm going to do, use this, and this will give it like a orangey brown tint to it. What we want, so it's going to be different. So just make sure you get all of it around the back. It's here as well. This will make a huge difference. And this guy is getting closer to being done. A few more steps to go, guys. Also basing. I'm going to do basing on him too, but we will get to that. So, might be hard to see with my phone camera. That's what I'm doing this on. But you'll notice the difference more once I wash the rest of the silver that's on this guy, because it's going to be different. So there he is so far, and I'll continue doing the rest. Alright, now that the Seraphim Sepia wash is dry, I'm going to go and hit up the rest of the silver with null oil. This is everything else that we painted silver. Also take note as well that I did paint the skull and the little half moon crescent while doing this too, silver. So I'm just gonna get this moving. no chime just up. It's actually pretty late right now, but it's a Friday night, so I don't really care because I don't have to wake up and go to work tomorrow. That's what weekends are for, right? Well, the thing I like about washing is it doesn't take as long as painting because it's very wet and thin, and seems to always go on pretty quick. And we'll do this, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, now that I got them all washed, the next thing I'm going to do is start dotting the eyes. So I'm going to use a very small paintbrush, and I'm using Vallejo red. It's just red. It's a freaking amazing color. Paint. Very good red. But you need a really tiny brush for this because there's little bumps for their eyes. And you're just going to dab the paint just a little bit and slowly hit the eye. And you don't need much, guys. You don't need much at all. You can get much paint on that one. You need to be careful. You don't want to do this if you just had 20 cups of coffee, because you might be just a tad shaky. That's it. I'm just going to hit it. And now, we've got some red eyes. Yeah, this stupid thing's fucking damn focus. Alright. And I will carry on. Okay. Now that the eyes are done, we're going to go and we're going to do the teeth. Now these guys have, most of them just have the 2 teeth fangs coming out. And for this, we're going to use Vallejo Iraqi sand. So, same thing. Nice small brush. And I'm just going to get in there. Just give it a little. All these ones need is just like a little tick with your brush. Nice and quick. Just something to help them pop out. Something like that, if you can see it. Finish doing the teeth. These guys are coming along. Alright guys, great news. We're on the last step of painting this miniature. Now let the washes all dry from the metallics. We're just going to do a quick dry brush. Now this is basically for the edge of the sword. Like I said before, layering would be a lot better, but better and quick, or better but takes longer. I'm sorry, kind of tired. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'm still going because I want to try and get these guys done. All right, so I'm just gonna on the edge of the sword, right, and do it here as well. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this with Stone Host Silver, so it's a brighter silver. And like I said, just edging by dry brushing. Right. This is a pretty quick technique. Pops out, gives it a little bit. You can kind of do it right here on the edge of the sword. Just give it a bit of a shine, and then the spikes of the shield. Right, just at the back. Just to make them a little bit more shiny. And the painting for this guy is done, my friends. Next steps we're going to do is work on the base after I finish doing all these. Alright. So now that I'm done painting the miniature, he's done. The next thing we want to work on is the base. And for this, I'm going to use Astro Granite texture from Citadel. And this stuff is really easy to use, and it makes basing quite quick. Comes out nice and grainy, And you're just going to take a fatter brush, like this, an old brush. And all we're going to do here is just we're going to apply it in chunks, some areas smooth. Just be careful not to get too much on the miniature, because as well as, you know, it looking more realistic with having some of the ground texture on the boots and stuff like that, because they're walking through it. You also want to make sure you're not taking away from your paint job either, because, you know, you spend all this time making something look awesome and it just goes bye-bye because you're being too sloppy. And just be careful and push in the edges to where the feet are and stuff. And get something like this. So, right, that's what you're kind of looking at. And we'll let these dry, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, now that I've put this, based it, the base, we're going to give it all a wash with Nuln Oil. And this will help darken the crevices and give some of the base some definition. We're going to use the same brush that we did with the textured bait, or the textured paint. I'm just going to go in here and make sure we hit everything. It's very important too that you get some of the black wash around the feet and stuff like that. Give it some more definition, right? And we're going to dry brush this afterwards. And just remember, guys, this video is meant to be to split quality and speed in half, right? So you're sacrificing a bit of both. Especially when you're batch painting and it's a board game. That's quick, right? Nice and easy. Give them all a wash, and we'll come back, and those are dry. Now that the wash is dry on the base, we're going to do a dry brush of Vallejo Deck Tan. I like this because it's like a super light gray. It's good for stone. It gives it that chip type of look. I'm use a wide dry brush, and we're just going to spin it sideways. Right, just hitting the tips of all of it. Now you're gonna get some dry brush on some of the cloth, and try not too much anyways, but it will give it the effect of kind of like some of the dust, right? But once that's dry brushed, I'm going to carry on and do the rest. Now that the dry brushing is finished, it's good. We're going to clean up the base. This is the last painting step. Once we finish this, we're going to spray Vallejo back. By the way, best black ever. Once I've done this step, we let the base dry, black dry, and then we spray with flat clear coat, and then we'll take these little guys to the discussion table. But this, my friends, is how you paint Massive Darkness Goblins. Alright. Alright, so I finished painting all these guys. I hope you liked the video. I also, as I was painting, what you didn't see is I did these guys here. They're the other goblins. This guy's got a bit of red, this guy's got some white on him, and a different brown for a stick. But all the steps still apply. You can do whatever you want with them. With these guys, all right, back to those guys. I think they came out really good. Focus. Too many little things going on around here for this thing to focus. But anyways, if you like them, if you like the way I did the video, and you want to see more, please comment below. And let me know what you like better. So I did this in like 2 different types. I did this snapshot by snapshot, where every different color I did, I took a picture of it, and I can do that step by step if you just like that, or you just like the walkthrough video as I'm painting, or if you like what I did with this one, did it both together. But if you want to see more miniatures painted, hit the like button below. Don't forget to subscribe. I have fun painting these guys. These guys are pretty cool. We're gonna do a video on the dwarfs next. I'm gonna paint up the archers for these guys, but I'm not gonna do a video because it's the same scheme. The only difference is they got a bow in their hand. But like I said, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And fireballs out.